Why is it that some leaders get instant buy in when others, even with authority, can't seem to make things happen? Because authority doesn't equal influence. Influence driven leadership is a real power behind team alignment, collaboration, and results. It's the skill of getting people excited to follow you, and because they want to, not because they have to. This week, we're joined by Tami Reiss to talk about how to lead through influence using practical tools that make your message land, your ideas stick, and your results multiply. We'll break down how personalizing every pitch, how to ask smarter questions, and how to tap into what really motivates your team. So, if you're ready to lead with more impact, not just authority, this episode of Profit with a Plan is your playbook. Hey, entrepreneurs, are you working too little for too little profit or too hard for too little profit? Welcome to Profit with a Plan podcast, where we help you scale smarter, increase profitability, and build a business that's worth more, whether you keep it or sell it. I'm Marcia Riner, business growth strategist and profit booster behind Infinite Profit. I've helped countless entrepreneurs to turn their businesses into highly profitable and sale ready assets so they enjoy more income now and a bigger payday later. So join me for practical strategies, expert insights, and proven steps to make your business more profitable, more valuable, and built to last. By the way, today's episode is sponsored by Infinite Profit, where we don't just talk profit, we deliver it. But before we dive in, I've got something special for you. If you're tired of flat revenue or marketing that just doesn't seem to pay off, my new Profit Booster Growth Map might be for you. In just a few minutes, it'll show you exactly how to bring in more qualified clients and plug the profit leaks that seem to be eating your cash. So you can get your growth map now at profitbooster.biz and go click on the growth map. And it will start turning missed revenue into real money. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Tami Reiss is an influence driven leadership expert who helps professionals turn authority into authentic impact. She is the CEO of The Leader Within, a keynote speaker, and a corporate trainer known for making leadership skills practical and actionable. Through tools like her LEAD framework and her MAP map, your influence canvas. Sorry if I get my mouth twisted, uh, and the Confident Communicator GPT. Tami helps leaders master the art of influence so that they can motivate, connect, and drive results. She's also bringing leadership lessons to life in a totally new way with her latest project, the illustrated rhyming book that makes influence fun and accessible for all ages. Tami's based out of Miami and brings both warmth and wisdom to every conversation. Tami, thanks for coming on to Profit with a Plan. I'm excited to have you on today.
I'm so happy to be here, Marcia. That was the best intro I've ever had.
Thank you. I'll thank my boyfriend Chad GPT for yeah, it's been amazing to be able to fine tune things that I never would have, thought to look at, but it just makes it easier and flows off the tongue when I don't mess with it.
Well, you should check out the Confident Communicator GPT. It's
See,
built
I
on top
love
of
it.
Chat GPT, and I took all of my blog posts, like 55, every speech I've ever given, every podcast transcript I've ever had, and pumped it in there, and it gives more confident communication, like more short, more concise, more executive communication style and advice than regular ChatGPT. But
I
it's free.
love it.
So yeah.
I love it. Well, my growth map's an actual GPT that I created too. So I love
So
that you're playing
fun.
in the AI space. It's just so much fun for me right now. I'm doing videos and all sorts of things, but that's a whole nother conversation. But let's talk about that. But well, before we do this, how in the world did you get into influencing people and driving leadership this way? Because people don't do it this way.
So my background is in product management, and product managers talk about the need to have influence about authority because the developers we work with and the designers we work with and the salespeople we work with, they have no reason to listen to us unless we're good at influence.
Uh-huh.
But beyond that, I spent half of my career as a consultant. And so much of being a consultant is influencing your client to
Mm.
be excited to work with you, to understand the change that you're asking them to make, to actually have them make that change. And so I've spent my career in this space where my ability to influence made or like broke my effectiveness. And for the past few years, I've done executive coaching with product leaders and other technology leaders. And what I realized was even in the C suite, most of the time, the advice I was giving them was about interpersonal influence.
Mm.
How do you influence the CRO or the CMO or the CEO or the board? And, or how do you influence your team? And I said to myself, if only we learned these skills earlier, if only we had them at our fingertips, if we can make them more accessible, how much more powerful would organizations be? And so that's where I got to this.
Wow, I love it. It is so fresh because, when you think about influence, you're thinking, how can I persuade or sleazy make someone to come onto my side? But it's not like that. It's really you just being able to communicate the direction and vision that you want to go and the value and how they can actually participate in this and make it happen. And for me, that's so exciting to do that in a way that, just makes it effortless. They
Yeah.
wanna they wanna participate.
Well, it's not only they just want to participate, when they want to participate, when you get them to want to participate, they bring their best selves.
Mm.
They themselves are motivated to reach that goal because they feel ownership, because they feel connection. And when they bring their best selves, they bring the best solutions. And
Ah,
staying an extra 20 minutes to finish something isn't a big deal. Or other things like, hey, I'm going to call up this person because I think that's the right thing to do right now. They think about the right thing to do and the best thing to do as opposed to, oh, this is what I was told to do. So I'm going to just do the thing,
mm.
right? When we're told to do something, we go through a checkbox and we make sure we checked the box. But when we actually want to do something, we want it to be good. We want it to be a reflection of us, at which point we bring our best selves to the work. And what boss doesn't want their employees bringing their best selves to the work?
Oh my gosh. Business is hard enough, right? And you can't do it alone, so your next best thing is to hire people to help you get to your goal that you want. But to do it, it just always seems like I'm dragging people, right? I've got this ball and
Yeah,
chain and we're all trying to push this boulder up the hill, but they're like, well, it's lunchtime, right? But like you
yeah.
just flip this and they want to do it. And
They
it
want
makes
to do it.
so much better sense. And it creates a better culture. It makes them, like, you said, work extra 20 minutes if they want to get this thing finished. It's a much better, happier place and considering that as a business owner, your people are your most valuable asset, why not fine tune them to make them run like a great, sports car?
Yeah, and so many leaders have to step in when their employees get blocked by someone else.
Mhm.
Oh, Sally doesn't want to do this. She's too focused on her own work. Oh, Jim won't run that report because he has other priorities. And then you, as a business owner, you, as a leader, need to step in and say, hey, Jim, I need you to do this for so and so. Sally, get on this for. And when your individual employees know how to work together, because everything is a group project,
Mhm.
and they know how to influence each other so that they can feel connected and they can feel co-ownership, you have less of this like playing mom, dad, parent
Babysitting.
attitude, babysitting, and you actually get to focus on the strategic work and the strategic relationships that are going to move your business forward.
Okay,
Nothing
I'm
is more
sold.
valuable with our time.
I'm sold. This is fantastic and amazing, and it seems like the perfect scenario that the your company can run at optimal production, right?
Yes.
So, how do we do this? I mean, come on, I don't just come in and put on a great face and go, cheerleader.
You definitely don't. But that's what MAP is about. It's a very simple three-step process for influence. And MAP, I'll go through the letters in just a second. This is applicable when you're the boss. This is the applicable when you're talking to your coworkers, people on your level, investors, customers,
Mm,
partners, or your at-home partner when you're trying to convince them to do something else. ChatGPT is a little bit more compliant than the average human partner.
Exactly. If he had arms, he'd be my real boyfriend, right?
Exactly. So the way MAP works is M is for manifest where you want to go.
Okay.
Before you can get anyone else on board, you have to know where you want to go and why
Okay.
that's important. You build out a real picture of not only the thing you want done, but what are the downstream impacts? What's the world look like once this thing happens? Who else benefits? And when you have that complete picture, you have the ability to connect other people to it better.
Love
So
it.
then you get a
Well, wait a minute. Hang
yeah,
on. Before you go on
yeah,
to A, when I think of manifest, I think of sitting here and quiet and dreaming and coming to this kind of thing. We're not just keeping it in our head, are we? We're putting it on
yeah,
paper and actually building it out so
yes.
we can share
Maybe
this
drawing
vision and dream.
pictures. Maybe drawing pictures.
Pictures,
There's a
stick
concept
people.
called I'm sure a lot of your listeners know about the concept of a prototype, right? You might have like a sample version of something. And
Mm.
so there's this other concept called vision type,
Ooh,
which is a visual storyboard sort of thing, which talks about this future that you want to build and
right.
how people are interacting with your product and services and the rest of the world because of your products and services, right? Like
Yeah.
if you're in the business of some sort of coffee brand, right? And maybe it like has a better like it's not about, oh, we have coffee at a certain caffeine. It's about we have coffee that has this caffeine and that produces a more steady day for somebody. They no longer at 3 p.m. need to go get that espresso, right? They don't crash at 2 p.m. without a Diet Coke or whatever it is. And you have to think about it's not about producing a coffee that has a certain profile, it's all of the downstream impacts that
It's the
create
benefits
value.
so that because of, and this is what you get, because it's so important, even when you are talking to your customer, I think in marketing, you're not talking about the features and the bells and whistles. You're talking about the benefits and what's in it for them, not how great I am, but what they get and what they can do with it. And it sounds like you're sharing that same influence when you're trying to get someone to buy in to
Yes,
your vision and your dream. So you're still
absolutely.
selling?
But before that, you have to have a
Gotta
dream,
dream it.
right? And then the A and the P are what people miss. People
Ah,
think, okay, I have this big dream. I'm going to share this big dream with everybody. And the answer is no. No one cares about your big dream. They care about the parts of that big dream that are
ah,
impactful to them. So that's what assess is about. Assess where someone else wants to go. Where does Marcia want to go with her podcast and her consulting business, right? How am I going to be a good guest on your show that serves your people so that your podcasters listen through the whole episode? Right?
love it.
That's what you want. And
Yeah.
so as a business leader, we have to think about what do our employees want? What do our potential customers want? What do our potential partners want? Right? If you're
Yeah.
thinking about selling your business, who would be potentially interested in this based on the sorts of things that are important to them? Because once you have all the different dominoes in your downstream impact, you can see, oh, well, this set of five might be applicable to this group. And this other set of three is applicable to this other group. And that's why that's the first step. Because then you can assess all these other people, understand where they want to go. And that brings us to our final step, which is the selling. P, promote where you can go together. So
Love it.
rather than sharing the entire big picture of the manifest, share the Venn diagram, share where there's overlap, share where after you've gone through this assessment of what someone else values, what are their priorities, what are their goals, share where you can work together to help them benefit, help them get where they want to go by collaborating with you, by hiring you, by listening to your idea, by following the change you want to make in the organization, or anything else. But you have to
Wow.
frame it first about what's in it for them. And then they're captivated. Then you have a chance of motivating them to actually take action. All of those things. But it starts with you got to know yourself, know the other people, and then figure out where you can go together because no one wants to go.
Wow. That is so simple, but yet on point, right? You know, 3 things to do. This is not an overwhelming process of, like,
No.
years of building this thing out. This is something you can sit down and go, "Look, here's my idea. I've mapped it out," right? Then I, as you said, assess. Then I'm looking at where can I get you to benefit from this, right? Or how
Yeah.
what would you like to do out of this? Take a chunk of that and then talk to them about it and show them just that chunk to get them on board.
Yeah.
Duh.
And so let's do it for you, right? I don't do this often, but Marcia, right? Marcia
Yeah.
has in her mind a certain number of entrepreneurs she wants to help exit or have long-term profitable businesses.
Yes. Love it.
But the downstream impact of that is community benefit and generational wealth and security and all the other things that come with profitability, right?
Mhm.
And higher valuation. But when you assessed entrepreneurs, what's important to them? They don't want to waste their
Right.
time. They don't want to be in the weeds. They want profitability so they can go on vacation and increase the value of their company so they can exit. So when you do a promotion for your services, you're not talking about, oh, I go through this assessment. Let's go through an assessment together. No one really turns down an assessment, right? But you're talking about the downstream impacts. If you work with me, I will help you increase your profitability. I will help you spend less time on the things that don't matter. And I will help increase the value of your company if you at some point want to sell.
Love it. You're hired.
But I mean, it's marketing. It's
It
marketing,
is.
it's sales, and we think of those things as dirty words. And it's as a product person, I used to say, "Oh, I don't sell. I'm a product person." If you have a need and I have a product, I will show you how they can match. And salespeople are more into showing you you have a need that you might not have realized it.
Exactly.
But either way, it doesn't make a difference. You're showing someone else why them giving you money, time, social capital is going to benefit them because
Love it.
they can put that stuff anywhere. Why are they going to give it to you? Why is an employee going to join your organization? Why is someone going to
Exactly.
stay with your organization?
This is really smooth and fantastic because I'm hearing all the right things that we want as business owners, right? We want to have people come in that want to work with us. We want to talk this way to our clients. We want to sell this to our customers. We want to have that buy-in from everybody. It sounds like now this may be a little on the rough edges for you, but it sounds like I'm influencing people by with the same skill set that I would sell to them with, a good salesperson.
100% good salesperson. I like to say
Look,
I train non-salespeople in sales tactics
yes,
because engineers aren't taught to sell. And then how can they advocate for the new technology they want to adopt? How can they
right.
advocate for the table structure they want? How does a designer who's looking at a screen mock-up have the ability to say to the decision makers, this is what's going to move the needle?
Yeah,
And when I've worked with executives, a lot of executive coaching is telling them how to translate what's important in their business unit to the larger financial business unit, to the
exactly.
business level metrics. And that again is about influence. You're selling why you should get more headcount. You're selling why you should get budget to buy a tool for your team. Because if they're more effective, this other thing's going to happen more, at which point we're going to deliver more business value and more profitability. We're going to cut OpEx, right? We're going to reduce costs if we do this tool. But you have to learn to do that. And it's always about selling. It's always about influence.
I love it. It's completely flipped around and I think it's great because when you have this skill set, it goes through life. It goes through business. It goes through relationships. It goes through, gosh, everything because you're really starting to think about in this simple process of this is what I want. This is how it'll benefit you and here's how I'm going to explain it to you
Yeah,
in your
in
in your
simple
benefit
words.
size. It's so simply amazing that I can see now that if you're using this well in your business environment, right? Not just for your customers, but for your team, you get them to come with you.
Yeah, that's what leadership's all about. A leader without followers
It's not a leader.
taking a walk. They're not a leader, right?
They're alone.
And so exactly. And so the thing that I really love that when it really clicks for people is when someone who has authority because they're the CEO, the CFO, the CRO, the vice president of XYZ, the general manager, whatever it is, they recognize that even now that they have the authority to tell someone to do something, it is better if they use the influence tactics because then someone will want to do something
Mm.
and bring their
Mm.
best selves. And that's so key and that's what I learned from executive coaching was that even the CEOs who I worked with needed to use influence tactics to get their team motivated towards a new direction.
Love it.
They or to accept something that they wouldn't necessarily otherwise accept or whatever it is and it's we forget that we still have to turn that on. That these skills that helped us rise through the ranks, because you're not rising through the ranks without them, you don't get to just leave them in the chair as you now have a
Right.
corner office, right?
Right.
Like you need to bring them with you and just use them in different ways.
Love it.
But we're
Okay.
still working with people.
Exactly. So what happens when when you get a little pushback or you start to get a little salesy or you get a little over the top? Is that bad?
It depends on the audience.
Love
But I
it.
think that that gets into when you say salesy, does that mean you're pushing it down someone's throat? Right? At
Yes,
which point
sometimes.
you're no longer using influence. They're no
Yeah.
longer wanting it because they're about to throw up, right? So, like,
Right.
take a pause and
Perfect.
sit back and reassess. Sit there and say, okay, what is it that I know about this person? Maybe I need to reframe it. Maybe there's another thing I should be promoting, or
Yeah.
maybe I'm not the person to promote it at all.
Ooh.
The best leaders understand that sometimes they need to deliver the message and sometimes someone else does. Because someone
Mm.
else has more gravitas, has built more trust, more confidence with the particular person they're trying to talk to or the organization they're trying to influence. And that's like the jujitsu master version of influence, right? When
Love
you
it.
recognize it's not me that's supposed to deliver this message.
Ooh.
There's a
That's really
domino
good.
effect that I know someone else, I'm going to influence them, and then they're going to influence others.
I like this. So you brought something up that was really important because we just assumed because I'm the CEO or the leader or the team director or whatever it is that my title gave me that authority and trust.
Mm.
So if we take a step back, trust is built based on relationships and understanding and give and take, right?
And
So
connection.
how do we step back and like maybe develop that trust a little bit more so the influence is more impactful?
When I coach people, I say you need to think about every situation, every interaction with somebody else as an opportunity to build more trust and confidence, to add to
Mm.
your trust bank. That's every email you send, every meeting you're part of, every meeting you present. And it's not so that you are always driving yourself crazy, but you at least take a moment to say, okay, what could I be doing in this moment that will help the people who I'm interacting with trust me more? Do I
Mm.
need to put in an executive summary so that people understand I speak like an executive? Do I need to include a chart? Right? Do I need to make this not an email, but an in person conversation?
Mm.
Right? All of those things are the things, the aspects of what's culturally appropriate, what's situationally appropriate to what's going on that's going to help me build trust and confidence. What do I have to give? You said give and take. What kind of collaboration should I be doing with these potential partners of mine so that they understand I have their back? Because when I try to
Yeah.
promote where we can go together, if they don't believe me and they have no
Yeah.
trust, that we could ever do anything together, you're not going very far.
Right. So that's why I asked about that trust thing, because that's important to get people to start following you, not just doing that. So I would think that it's maybe let me do something for you first, right? Let me help you with
There's
your
a hook there.
initiative.
There's a hook there.
Oh, yeah.
If you do something for somebody else, I have like a little like YouTube short about this. And they say thank you. So many of us say, "Oh, no worries. It wasn't a big deal."
God, do you
And
know what I
that
did to do all
you don't
that?
have to be melodramatic, but you can say instead of "no worries," "I'm glad you appreciated it. I'm glad you found it helpful."
I like that.
And that says to the other person, "I gave you my time and my time is valuable. I'm happy to do that because you needed it. And at some point, if I say to you, I need some help, you might just have that seed that was planted, not in a tit for tat fashion, but in a we're laying the groundwork for a relationship.
Love it.
And I value this relationship enough to give you my time. And it's not nothing. I'm glad
Yes.
you appreciate it because I appreciate it too. I'm glad you came to me with this problem.
Yes. You know what? That is a huge
Huge.
shift or hook that you just dropped down here because so many of us, yeah, like you said, it was nothing. It's okay.
It
Oh,
was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nothing. No big
But now you're
deal.
saying, yeah, because you're saying subconsciously, we don't think before we speak often. And what comes out is not the intended thing because you said it was not a problem. I wasn't doing anything at the time, so it's okay, right? Instead of saying, look, I went out of my way to help you. And I'm
Yeah.
glad you appreciated that. You don't have to say you went out of your way, but I mean, you want to give that impression of I did something for you,
Yeah.
and
That you could not do by yourself.
exactly, and I'm glad you appreciated it because then it makes them think, "Oh, I
Uh,
should appreciate this," right?
yes, you've planted the
Yes, this
seed.
is so
That like
good.
thank you, like people thank you isn't just a platitude. You said thank you because you appreciated it.
Yes,
I delivered you value.
yes,
When are
yes,
you going to deliver it back?
yes. In a relationship, it is give and take, right? In a
Absolutely.
proper relationship, right? If you're giving, 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 and they're not reciprocating, then it's a one-sided relationship, and you need to figure out why they don't value you at the same time, right? This isn't dating relationships, but it goes cross boards. But it's even the same way as when you're working with a customer or a partner or a team member and you want to be able to do that. And I'm a giver, so I do a lot of giving, and I do a lot of work, extra work. And I don't always say don't worry, but I think that more impactful to say I'm glad you appreciated it, that I did this for you that you couldn't do by yourself, right? Or that you
Yeah.
needed help with, and you say it in a way that just leaves that little fishing hook in there.
I'm
In
so happy I was able to
Yes.
help.
Yes, that's really good. That's
I'm
really
happy I
good.
was able to help you figure this out.
Yeah. Okay,
It brings
so
me joy.
so when you're doing that, I think that's a test and check as well, that it's not always just a, "Here, follow me, follow me, follow me." It's because I'm great or I'm influential or, I can convince you to come this path. It's part of the relationship and foundation that you build early on that develops into being able to say, "Yeah, let's go this path," right?
Yeah,
So, you've
exactly.
earned it.
Because trust is really important.
It is, and so overlooked. We just assume because I'm the authority in this space, or I have the title or a name badge, or, that I'm the best price. God forbid that should be your sales
God
pitch.
forbid.
Yeah, bad play. But, that I
Raise to the
should
bottom.
have that I should be entitled to that deal, right?
Yes.
And it's not like that.
No, I bring value, and
Mm,
that's why you're here.
mm. And I
And
think if you go back and you test that value against the MAP strategy, right?
Yeah.
you're gonna evolve that value based on the assessment of them.
Yes. That is the most important thing that people, like I mentioned, they just like they think they have one elevator pitch. No,
So
everybody
buy my
needs
shit.
a
Buy my
personalized
shit.
pitch. Everyone needs a personalized pitch
Mm,
designed to help them turn on. It is so hard right now to get anyone's attention.
right?
And this is a way to get people's attention because you're talking to them about something that's valuable to them.
Mm,
And then
exactly.
they're saying, oh, yeah, I totally want that.
Of
How do I get
course.
that to happen? Oh, let's collaborate and make this thing happen. This is the thing that's going to help you get there. But
Wow.
we have to captivate them. We have to get their attention. We have to get them to listen. And then we can motivate.
Mm. Yay! This is so good, Tammy. This is so good. And across so many different platforms, not just as a leader trying to motivate their team to help them produce better, bigger, better, faster, stronger, cheaper, whatever, but and then in business, I can see it going in a dozen different directions, but externally, relationship wise, gosh, just
I
I'm
like to
late. Can I
say,
get in front of you, right?
yeah,
In line.
at the airport, I like to
Yeah.
say these skills are equally impactful in helping you get a promotion or hire an employee or land that sale as they are in convincing your partner to go to Greece or convincing your mother-in-law that Christmas should be at your house this year.
Yeah.
It's all the same thing. Like think about convincing your mother-in-law that like it's time to let go. Christmas
Right?
isn't going to be at your house. And you have to say, okay, well, you want to be able to see your grandchildren and you don't like them breaking things in your house and like get into like and the preparation, but like you love making the turkey. So bring the turkey over. We all love your turkey too, but wouldn't it be great if the grandkids, like we have the big screen TV and whatever else it is?
Right. You think about it from their point of view and what would get them to say yes.
Yes. And that's where it starts because that's what we would want.
I love it.
How
Wow.
often do we want to be sold something that's good for somebody else or
No,
generic?
I could care less about you. I want it for me. What's in it for
Yeah.
me,
What's
right?
in for me? And looping back to the beginning of our conversation, GPTs make this so much easier. It used to take so much energy to think and personalize and say, okay, how just 3 seconds later, you've got a brand new pitch.
Wow.
It has your whole proposal. It has the manifestation, right? It has all those domino effects. And then you
Yeah.
type in what would make this attractive to this particular person that I know this about.
Yeah.
And so leverage AI to power the interpersonal relationships you have and use those as inputs for how to make them better and more productive and more impactful for you.
And in a flash of a second, it can happen, right? With just a little bit. So you mentioned you have GPTs. Tammy, this is so amazing. And I am 100% bought in on this new plan. And I'm going to practice using the methodology here on going forward. But, you know, I know we've just scratched the surface of your abilities and your bright ideas that can really help. So where can listeners find out more about you and start doing map for themselves?
So, first things first, you have to spell my name right.
Yes,
So Tammy for Miami. So it's Tami, just spelled like Miami. Reiss, Reiss. And if you type that in, you will find TamiReiss.com. You will find Tami Reiss on YouTube. You will find Tami Reiss, which is Reiss Tammy on Instagram. But if you want this map canvas, it's TamiReiss.com/influence. Trying to make it hard for everybody.
I know, right?
INFL. But beyond that, the thing that I always give any podcast audience that I'm part of is that I talked a little bit about this little YouTube video around this word choice stuff. I created a whole course. It's only an hour of your time, but it's totally worthwhile on mastering executive presence. Because executive presence is a really big part of being a leader and earning that trust and confidence and having people want to follow you. It's a core part of influence, but a lot of people don't know how to define it or
Mm.
what they could be doing to make it better. And so this is a course that I sell for like $4.99, and I give anybody who's invited me onto the process, their whole community, the same course for $49. Like I give you a discount code and it's $50 incredibly, incredibly well spent.
Absolutely, it would be. It is so much of how we're influencing the world around us. And as leaders, as business owners, as salespeople, as employees, we want to influence people in the right way, not pushy, salesy, persuasive,
Yeah,
strange tactics, NLP or whatever it is. We just want to make it a win-win.
yeah.
And I
Win-win.
think this is a fantastic tool and an easy way to do it to start to get your mind shifted in that place.
Yeah. And in the
So,
course, the number one thing I talk about is authenticity.
mhm,
If you have been listening to this podcast and you think I want you to become a salesy, like used car person, I'm not. I don't want you to do that.
yeah,
I want you to feel that you are excited about where you want to go, that that manifestation of the future you want to build is exciting to you. And I want you to learn how to pitch it to other people
love
in
it.
your own authentic fashion.
Love it. This is so good. So good. All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in today. I hope you've picked up some valuable insights and actionable ideas. I know I have. I've got a whole list. I'm so excited to go dive in on it that will help you make your business more profitable, your life more enjoyable, get you that raise you wanted, find the perfect mate, or get your mother-in-law to have Christmas at your place this year. So I know this is the path to do it, and learning it's an essential skill that will make your life a whole lot easier. So I encourage you to go take Tammy up on her offer for the course. It'll be an easy investment for sure. All right, before we go, if you want to bring in more of the right clients and keep more of what you earn, go grab your free Profit Booster Growth Map. It will pinpoint 3 top moves to grow revenue and stop those profit leaks fast. Get yours anytime at profitbooster.biz and go hit
I'm going to do this when
the
I get off
growth
this call.
map, right? It's super fun, super easy. 6 questions, no hard push or sale or anything after it. It's just some really valuable ideas on it. So go check it out. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. You don't want to miss future shows. You can always find Profit with a Plan on any of your favorite podcast platforms. We're turning 7 in January of 2026. So I'm just mind blown that it's gone on for this long, but it's still rolling forward with fantastic guests like Tammy. And so we're looking forward to sharing more profitable strategies on next week's show. So until then, make your plans and profit with them. Thank you so much, Tammy. This was so good.
Thank you so much, Marcia, for having me. It was so awesome to share this knowledge.